Okay. And yeah.
All right. How's it going, Keith?
Sorry, it took me a second to get set up there. Ooh, that's better. That's okay. It is going good. I better than I deserve. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How was your day?
Oh, good. Busy, lots of sun out in Los Angeles. Where are you at?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Yes.
Have you ever done any
Um,
cons here?
I have not. I did a movie in Wilmington. Does that
Which
count?
one?
Hiding Out with John Cryer, Wilmington, De Laurentiis Entertainment Group production. Oh no. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How was your 4th of July weekend?
Oh, it was great. Blissful. Blissful.
Oh, right. So,
Lots of
Keith,
fireworks though in LA, and they shouldn't be setting those off. We have dangerous with the fire and the I don't know, it's terrible.
Keith, I feel like your career is one of those IMDb pages that pe makes people go, "Wait, he was in that too?" Do you ever
Yes. Oh
do you
no.
ever Google yourself just to remember all the cool stuff you've ever done?
Huh? Oh, I have to because I was I'll look at IMDb. My mom will contact me every once in a while. She's like, they're missing a credit. She's such an advocate. Um, and it's so cute. She'll fight with people online. Um, when IMDb allowed comments, remember that when you could comment? There was a whole comment. It was great.
Yeah.
People would argue and fight all the time. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. No, it's the best Christmas movie. And my mom was all sticking up for me, and they're like, "What do you know?" And she's like, "Well, I'm his mother." And they're like, "Oh, really?" And she was writing from my stepdad's account. They're like, "Really, Rob 772?" It was just hysterical. They're like, "You're his mother." My God. So thank you. That's my goal is to just keep adding to that IMDb.
You grew up surrounded by Hollywood royalty. Your grandfather, Jackie Coogan, helped create laws to protect child actors. What kind of pressure or pride came with carrying the Coogan name?
Oh, none. I wasn't using it for most of my childhood and from between, anything I did between 1975 and 1986. I was Keith Mitchell.
Keith Mitchell.
Yeah, and billed as such. And my mom told the agent that I first signed up with that there's nothing worse for an actor than not knowing why they got cast in a role. And I probably would have helped me. She was looking out for like the nepo baby thing, but this was back in the 70s. She knew it would be looked down upon in the future, and heck, I'm a nepo grandbaby.
The moment you realized you weren't just in the family business, that you had become your own kind of star?
Oh no, I mean I thought of it as the business, and my family had a relationship with it that, they had respect for it. They would call it the business. The show must go on, and that's always the most important thing. Drop everything, friends, family, personal commitments, because you've got, 8 o'clock call time on Perry Mason. You got to go. So I understood that was always primary was you have to be really stable in your life and develop trust with all these people that kind of help support you while you run off and abandon them and go do fun movies and TV. Um, I saw it as a thing that a lot of other people that couldn't do anything else, they went into acting. They were entertaining. They were charming. Um, they would usually get assigned assistants to help make sure they got to the set on time and knew their lines and stuff. When you see personal assistant, that doesn't mean clout. I think that means you keep someone with a leash on them. I learned to totally. I love the business. If you're in it, there's kind of one way to do it the right way. Just be prepared and be present and just keep working at it. Have a lot of patience, persistence, perseverance, and anything else that begins with a P. Push at it. You gotta, be creative. Sometimes to get a job, you have to take a risk. My grandfather shaved his head and his eyebrows for Uncle Fester. I donned a wig just for the audition for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead for a part I wasn't even going up for. So it was like that Oh, my grandfather had a great quote about that. He goes, "Show business, give it everything you got, but not so that it's all that you have."
And I read that it wasn't the same wig that your grandfather wore, but it was the same wig maker that you used in the Don't Tell Mom.
Yeah, Wigs by Ziggy. He was in the retirement end of his career, and one of his last jobs was to make two hand laced human hair and yak hair wigs for the stoner Kenny, and they were $3,000 a wig.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
and I'm getting the last one fitted on, and I look up on the wall at his place in Burbank, and I said, "Why do you have a picture of my grandfather on the wall?" And he said, "Oh, his PR people said he needed a toupee, so the same guy that made the toupees for my grandfather also made Kenny's wig, and they kept it. It was in the Warner Brothers archive somewhere.
That is
The
awesome.
Kenny's wig, not the toupee."
Oh. Was acting ever a choice for you, or did it feel like destiny?
Oh, it's an elective. It's far more fascinating than chess or baseball or volleyball or surfing or I don't know what other electives. We didn't really have a theater program in the schools. I went to public schools. Our music program wasn't really didn't come until later, like junior high and high school and stuff. So the that outlet to get a laugh, to there's different, there is theater or vaudeville. My great grandfather started in vaudeville, and it's just make the room that you're in laugh, just whatever it takes. Chaplin, Keaton, Fatty Arbuckle, um, make them laugh, even if it hurts you physically. A lot of those performers got hurt doing their own stunts and stuff. And then there is film and TV. There's such a delay between performing it and then having that laughter. So when you're on stage, that laughter is immediately like crack. It's like heroin, and that performers like stand-up comics get addicted to that. Film and TV takes a while for it to come out, but it also can stick around. It has a lasting. My grandfather said, "Film is permanent," and so bring it. That they could print any print, so always just do your best.
Let's talk adventures in babysitting. What was it
Yeah.
like walking onto that set for the first time? And did you have any idea it would become such a generational touchstone?
Oh, I couldn't say it's any generational. Thank you. That's nice. Um, it was a big shoot in terms of um it was my first feature, and I'd done TV and stuff that's very scheduled, and but this had the whole thing for the next 3 months, what we're gonna do. And you take it in little chunks, little 5, 9 pages a day that you're doing this. And we had a lot of not outrageous stuff in terms of stunts, or there's no helicopters, there's no explosions or UFOs or anything, spaceships, but we did have a lot of vehicles and climbing on buildings, and so it was arduous, but absolutely a blast. We knew we were making this kind of fun, light. We wanted to. Chris Columbus kept saying that he wants to have a bottom. Like, we're regular people, everyone else is crazy, so just act, um, to all the crazy stuff. Just behave normally, how we would really react. And the first day was a split day. So they shot some day scenes, which was Chris at the door with, oh, her singing her song, Chris at the door with Brad Whitford, and then her and Penelope and Miller, the Brenda scenes. They shot all that. And then at night, we're in the tow truck driver with, tow truck with John Ford Noonan, and shooting until about midnight, which is when Maya Bruton had to wrap. Um, and then start all over again. And it was a lot of night shoots, which was very fun, but it's kind of rare. It's tough on the crew. And Toronto in January, February, a little cold. We had silks, long underwear underneath our costumes. But I just knew that just the title alone, it's crazy title. I didn't know until the day it came out that We had a huge double page, like center gatefold LA Times color ad with all of the show times and the critics and things, and us climbing off the building. Um, it felt well supported by Touchstone, and hung around in theaters for a while. So we knew that we it was ours to fumble. Great script, great producers, great studio behind it. So it was up to Deborah Hill, Linda Opes, David Simpkins, Chris Columbus, and then just a great cast. I mean, everybody from the main cast, but then also every single day player, every other kind of character we run into, were they were hysterical. They were hilarious.
You mentioned stunt work earlier. There's a physicality to a lot of your roles. Toy Soldiers, Don't Tell Mom. How did you prepare for those performances, especially the action-heavy moments?
Not at all. Gosh, no. I think Brad has a Letterman's jacket, but it's for band. Um, he yeah, no Toy Soldiers. All the guys, the other actors were working out in the gym at the hotel and wearing cut off shirts and stuff, and wearing like black boxers or briefs or whatever. And I'm like, I smoke. He's asthmatic, and he's doesn't take care of himself. So uh, there was nothing there. He's a total chicken. Um, they point guns at him, and he just raises his hand, but he'll spit behind the backs of the terrorists. He's in on the rebellion, but not really, so you'd know. Um, so I actually wanted to be a stuntman, like pre-acting. I was fascinated with stuff like Hooper and the movie The Stuntman, and I thought westerns, watching westerns and stuff like that. Loved loved stunts, and so we had a great stunt coordinator in Toronto that would walk us through everything. Chris Columbus would walk across the I beam or down the roof, or in the car rig, which is hung off of a big truck shot maker that's towing the car. And it's usually just the cast in the car turning on the sound equipment and slating the shots and stuff like that. And then you do the scene over and over until you run out of film. And then they stop and park and reset, and then you go drive around Chicago more. The L train sequence was great because it was shot on the loop in Chicago on a real moving L train. There's no green screen or process shot. It's really moving, and the lights are flickering, and gave a good just location for it.
The dishes are done, man. A line that refuses to die. Did you improv that? And how often do fans still quote it to you?
I don't know that I improv it. I know that we did. It's not in the script, my copy of the script, but we did some massaging on the scene prior. Yeah, there's a scene prior to that where I go, "Oh, I'll do the dishes," and it sets up, the dishes are done, man. However, I didn't say anything in that scene. I just went, and I looped in later because the dishes line was great, and then we retroactively set it up in the scene before. We shot them out of order, so it was just very interesting. I've got to find a copy and talk to the writers. One of the writers said it was his brother was Kenny, but I don't know if the director yelled it out or one of the writers yelled it out or we rehearsed it and it came out of somewhere. But I'll take credit for cleans them down to the shine. I did write that.
All right, looking back to then and now, you've seen Hollywood evolve from the child actor world of the 80s to today's streaming-led industry. What's changed for the better and what hasn't?
Wow. What's changed for the better is more awareness of the what used to be way more hidden, talked about for all stars. I think a lot more people have talked about their experiences. We've got people making documentaries and sharing their personal experiences with it. And it's tough anytime you have adults working with kids. Kids expected to work as adults. That's where the whole psychological, the pressure. So, you know, my grandfather had this labor law that has a set teacher. So the kid can go to school during the day. And the set teacher doubles as a social worker.
Hmm.
that gets to spend at least 3 hours a day with that kid. And every once in a while, it doesn't hurt to go, "You okay? You feel you look? I know you're doing the crying scenes. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going over my part." "Okay, just checking." You don't want a kid falling apart as soon as mom and dad are out of the room. Be like, "I can't do this. I want to quit." Oh, that's interesting. And so that's a protection we've had since 1939. We put aside money, so that's protection's been there since 1939. They've added that though recently because of internet. There's a lot more filming just in the 5 states that kind of have a version of the Coogan Act. Um, so they've now added 15 states have passed Coogan Act bills to protect kids' earnings and working hour stuff. And because a lot of the time their home is their workplace, and are they saving the money they're earning on like ads and royalty, whatever. So um getting their breaks. Go on break, clean your room. Oh, and then the final stipulation in 2000, they did background checks on adults that work with minors. So kid on the call sheet, great. Everybody on the crew, we're gonna do background checks on everybody, and that helps. Know who you're working with. Why not? They do that at most jobs I've ever gone up for. So I think it's as good as you can. I think, and in California, the parents can be within sight and sound of their child at all time. "Oh, it's a movie. We're just taking the kid off to." No, you're not. "Oh, it's a helicopter shot. We can't." No, the kid's not going on a helicopter. If he is, I'm going with him. The parent can be a really good advocate to make sure that the kid is safe on a set.
There's some darker sides of Hollywood as well. Mental health, burnout, typecasting. These are big topics now. Were those conversations happening at all when you were growing up?
You had said burnout and stress, and what else?
Typecasting.
Oh yeah, typecasting was what you were afraid of, getting typecast. If you are Ralph Malph, you're going to be Ralph Malph for the rest of your life. Um, and you could be trapped in TV, until like Bruce Willis did Die Hard. There was kind of a separation between movies and TV. Um, and yeah, typecast could be rough. I know that I had a composite commercial shot that was the tough guy, the kid playing baseball, the one playing video games. Like, oh, I got to do chores. Like, you try to show, different costumes on, I guess.
Have you ever thought about what kind of roles you would take on now if the right script came along?
Anything that's SAG, I love it. I work whenever they pay me. I love supporting independent filmmakers, new filmmakers. Kevin Smith. I'm shamelessly plugging Reboot, which I'm in, by the way. Go watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Um, in the '90s, it was a lot harder to make your own stuff. Get the camera and the film and a distributor and rights to the music and the thing. But Richard Linklater and Richard Ramirez, Robert Rodriguez and Kevin Smith, they all figured it out, and they made films that were in theaters. So today, everyone's got an iPhone and a thing, and they can go make it, whatever they want. Billie Eilish made her first album on a laptop on a copy of Pro Tools. Um, so there's a big democratization. Everyone can get out there and create, and you can see that there's short content online that are quite produced. Even if it's one person alone at a green screen, kind of dressing in costumes and doing both ends of a conversation, uh, these people have chops and timing and editing skills, and they're creating two, three of these a day. It's changed. We went from silent to real silence to um, Oppenheimer. I know they're all in black and white, but we've got XD theaters, and we've got streaming services giving you movie stars, movie scripts, movie cameraman, movie budgets, movie directors, but long form television like that. So audiences are spoiled. There's a lot of content being made. Um, Maybe there's no room for something poorly made or something amateurish. So we do tend to see everything is kind of derivative in the mainstream. They need to have a book, a previous movie, series, TV intellectual property, something they can guarantee to recoup this massive investment, 100 million to $200 million, to make one of these projects. So I think it's up to the consumers to do a sex lies and videotape, to grab their camcorders and their phones and make the next big thing.
Is there a type of role that you just haven't gotten yet that you've always wanted, like maybe horror or Western?
I do need more horrors. I've done Western. I've written on film, English, bareback, and Western. Um, and but the what was it? Horror. Yes, horror is great. I've done a few handful Python, if that counts. 130 Feet of Terror. Robert England. That's a legit. Who was also in it? Robert Davi. Yeah. Um, oh yeah, I did an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Nice.
Directed by Bob Gale Jr. with Jason London, Courtney Gaines, Kevin Dillon, David DeLuise, Will Wheaton, Meredith Salinger, and another horror film. But yeah, I need more horror credits. I love them because there's lots of good horror conventions, and I do
Definitely.
well because for some reason Fox and the Hound horrifies people. And the tougher they seem, like the more they're like, "Yo, Fox and the Hound took me down, man." It's great.
Thinking of Fox and the Hound, does the Coogan's Act, does that apply to voice actors as well?
Yes, it applies to music and voice and TV and stage and film and video games and anytime a kid, is employed for the yeah. Now you go off non-union, you go off the books. Uh, if they don't really have as much oversight, and technically they should absolutely still follow it. See, in 1938, when Roosevelt passed the minor labor bill, it was to protect kids working in mines, miners, farmers, sweatshop kids. There's a whole film. I read a great article on a documentarian that made a series of newsreels and took them around the country to get people aware of all the children that were working uh, under really rough conditions. So when he passed this act to give minors some sort of labor protection, there was a Shirley Temple cutout in Roosevelt's bill. Kids in the movie industry were exempt from any sort of labor protections. So it took the Coogan Act in 1939 to rectify that.
Hmm. Wow. What's something about the life of a working actor, especially a child star, that most people would never guess?
Oh, I don't know, because I think people can guess about a lot of activities. You got your regular school and after school stuff and, baseball and band and whatever. But you also got um, auditions. And the way it used to work, you would just get, picked up from school and run off to a series of casting offices. First call, this is a callback, change your hair. They learn a bunch of lines. Sometimes you have them ahead of time. Most of the time you don't. You're going up for commercials, TV episodics, movies of the week, after school specials, everything. And then you also have to do your homework at some point, probably in the car. That's a good time to do the homework. And then get home and, watch some TV, research. Gotta watch Happy Days if you want to book one. Um, and that's it. It is a lot of work. I think people know that. You're working with adults, so there could be language on the set. Grip crushes his thumb in a light, and he might curse, and it's they're working with heavy equipment. That's expected. Um, to know that, they have labor laws on working. A kid can only work like 10 hours a day. But oftentimes they'll do the school, they'll do auditions, or they'll even work on a set all day. Then they'll go home, do their homework, eat some dinner, and then go to a red carpet or a function, a press event. And that's work. They're there supporting their career. They got to get dressed up. They're being told where to stand and what to do. That's work, but they're not getting paid for it. It's not counted as hours. Certainly counted against their recreation or their sleep. So that's where the stress level is a little higher today. And also, kids are contractually obligated in states that it's legally allowed to have social media presence and post about the show. Um, and so that is different than it was in the past.
You've been pretty honest and open about the ups and downs of the business. How have those experiences shaped you outside of Hollywood?
Oh, the same as any. What are we, Gen X?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 1970. 1970. So you throw a rock at me, or give me just hose water to drink. Um, I grew up on some great movies that were created under low budgets. Studios had kind of gone bankrupt in the 70s. People that couldn't afford movie tickets, they couldn't afford gas, inflation, and people didn't trust the government. We had Watergate and everything. So I did grow up with movies like All the President's Men and um, uh, Dog Day Afternoon and French Connection and just, Godfather, Jaws. There was a grittiness to them, a texture. Duel was one of the first memories of like seeing Duel and going, that's absolutely great entertainment. So I don't know what the question was, but
Um, if you can go back and give young Keith one piece of advice before stepping on set, what would it be?
nothing that my grandfather, my mom, uh, that all the directors I'd worked with or whatever, nothing that, they didn't really kind of prep me for it. Um, yeah, no, my grandfather didn't ever wanted me to get typecast. Don't do the same part twice. That's how I wound up as Kenny instead of Brian the clown dog boy. My mom was supportive of that, she also was supportive of like you work if it's right. Sometimes it was a project she didn't have a great feeling about, like The Shining or Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And she would prove that I was free to do this or not. It's you could do it if you could be in the business if you want. You don't hang. It's a callback for what? Friday the 13th? Yeah. Hey, you want to go to the beach? Yeah, well, I'll tell him no. It's fine. Nah, he's good. So I always had a choice. I don't feel I was trafficked or pressured like Will Wheaton and Will. I am sorry that that was your experience because anytime I was on a set, best time of my life. I loved working, loved being on set. I got to play with all these great adults I watched on TV. Um, and so I don't know. I would tell my kid just enjoy it. I don't know. There's nothing I could recommend to myself as a kid on set.
So if it wasn't for your mom, you could have been the next Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th.
Correct. But it would have been a horror movie, and I'd be doing more horror conventions. So there.
What keeps you excited about the craft today? Are there projects or passions you're exploring now that fans might not know about?
Oh, I don't even know about them. We've got horror, something in two, some in August, some in December.
It's not asking about conventions. It's asking about any projects you're working on.
Yeah, the movie next month in August,
Oh, yeah.
and then in December is a priest in a horror movie. I get killed. Woo! That could be very exciting. That should be back east in Jersey, and yeah, whatever. I just answer the phone. This is Keith. I'll do it.
Thinking of conventions, you've been pretty active on the convention circuit. What's the
Yes.
most memorable fan encounter you've ever had? Just the most memorable, strangest, fun?
Wow. Well, I met my wife at my first autograph convention. That might be the most fun, strangest, and weirdest. She was not my fan. She was there to see somebody else, but she
I'm still not.
she's still not a fan of me. I know, wouldn't let me watch Downhill Willie the other day. No, I'm kidding. It was Under the Boardwalk. I wanted to watch Under the Boardwalk. It's on Tubi. She's right here. This is my wife, Pinky. Say hi, hi.
Hello.
No, she's great. Absolutely. She's always telling me to go for it and be crazy in auditions. And, she's my scene partner, my scene reader. Uh, and what's the movie out right now with Pete, SNL with Bill
Pete
Murray?
Davidson.
Riff Raff. Yeah, we had a killer scene audition for Riff Raff. I don't know why we didn't get it, babe.
What's the legacy you hope to leave, not just in film, but in life?
Oh God, no, that's no. I love to just entertain people. That's it. Something behind that someone watches, and that if they've seen it before, it makes them feel that way again. Um, I, things change over time, but somehow a person's favorite movie or whatever that kind of sticks with them, and they'll return to it and watch it again and again and enjoy it. So, that's I yeah, that's it. I no I don't want to change the world. If I can, that's great. Some movies do. Some movies set out with you know, a direction that they would love, a consideration, a social issue. It took, you know, striking dock workers to be portrayed by Marlon Brando and on the waterfront before people were like, "Oh, what's their contract? Can't be all that bad." Um, a Fruitville Station changed how law enforcement deals with neurodivergent suspects. So it can move the needle on social issues, but it can also be silly and fun, have a little sex in it. I just want to make fun, that people sit back, they can lean back and just, with like, don't tell mom I'm guilty. If it's on TV, wherever it is in the movie, I'm like, well, watching this till the credits.
Got some fun questions for you. What was the first concert you ever attended?
Kiss.
Kiss. Nice.
1978. My friend had the doll, the action figures that were like the 8 or 10 inch ones, and so I knew who they were, and with the cat one and the this one, and it was L.A. Sports Arena. Don't hack my Facebook or anything like that with this, but yeah, loud, so loud. My mom broke off napkins and shoved them in our ears. It was loud.
Who is one performer you would love to work with?
Oh my goodness. Fassbender. That would be amazing. I'd love to
Oh,
get under
definitely.
Fassbender's skin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jack Black would be exciting because I would try to out energy Jack Black. Yeah.
I don't think you
Um,
can. No one can
I
out
it
energy
would
Jack
be
Black.
close. It would be close. Drink a lot of coffee. Um, yeah, no, anyone who's game to play, and even if they're not, I've worked with people that take it really seriously, and it doesn't have to be that serious. Other people, they are, and they come through some really amazing things, and I kind of cut them a break. They're not real social on set, but their work, it gives them a pass, if you will. That's the one thing in our industry. You could have a wreck. Your life could be in shambles. You don't have any money. You're struggling with, addiction. We're friends with a lot of like old kind of movie people that then were in TV to kind of get their medical through SAG. Um, and they're 2 generations above me or whatever. So, but they just got so much joy from doing the job, getting the laugh. That's what they're there for.
What was the last show that you and your wife have binge watched? Currently, my wife and I were watching on Peacock Poker Face. Great show.
We're just watching. We just started watching, then digging into the next season. What did we just Burger Bot? We've gone through. Tough to binge. A lot of shows they'll do weekly. Kind of drip, drip, drip.
We're watching Countdown right now.
Countdown is really good. We like Countdown. And Smoke.
Apartment Q. Really
Apartment.
good.
Oh, Department Q is fantastic. Huge. And what movie was it? I know it's not a streamer, but Heads of State.
State.
Is that it? Heads of State? Yeah. With John Cena and Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah, that
Very,
one.
yeah, it's good. Very entertaining. Good stunts, very funny. 10 out of 10.
If you had to be stuck in one of your movies forever, which one would you pick, and who's the first castmate you would want to be with you?
Oh, wow. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, and I would like Christina from 1990. Right
Okay,
there, shooting it all over again.
awesome. And wrapping up here, what was the best on-set prank on Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Oh, no. It's a Warner Brothers picture. You're not allowed to waste time or money or no.
No, of course
No,
not.
no pranks. Nah. No, I'm serious. There were no pranks. Although
Wow.
the kitchen, so it was an ongoing running gag, is that we shot the movie in order, in sequence, and the house, they used real food as the junk in the kitchen, and through the weeks there, it just the flies are real. You'll see flies in the film, and it smelled bad. So I was really glad when they cleaned up the set.
And any final thoughts or shout outs you'd like to leave us with?
Oh, you never have the job until your second check clears.
Awesome. Oh, Keith, it was a pleasure speaking to you tonight. Thank you very much. Um, are there any cons coming up that you know of in this area? I'd love to check you out sometime.
Oh, we're gonna be on cons about equidistance north and south. We're gonna be down in Jacksonville in September, Florida, and then in Rhode Island in November.
And people can follow you on Instagram, Facebook. What's the best
It,
way?
Insta, Twitter, Facebook, Keith Coogan, Keith Coogan, Keith Coogan, and my website is keithcooganonline.com because apparently keithcoogan.com was taken by a very sweet British couple. Thank you. The pictures of you on your lawn chairs are gorgeous, but you're just sitting on. I'd love. Never mind. They can keep it. It's fine.
That's funny. Well,
Oh, and
thank
YouTube, Keith and Pinky's Hollywood Tales.
Keith and Pinky's Hollywood Tales on YouTube. I'll have to check that out.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview. Thank you for everyone for watching. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.